Hi, I'm James and welcome to the HSS studio, where we will be creating how-to videos for all things DIY. We are going to master all things plastering. From boarding out our wall to discussing materials used and even a step-by-step guide. So let's run through what we need at this stage. Everything we're using today is available for you to buy or hire from HSS DIY through their website, hss.com. Okay, so we are going to need plasterboard, beading, plasterboard screws, a tape measure, a spirit level or laser leveler, hammer drill or electric screwdriver, plasterboard knife, dust sheets and step ladders. And safety first, of course, we also recommend the following PPE: gloves, goggles and overalls. Right, so now we know what we need to get started, let's introduce our plasterer Nick, who is going to help demonstrate and give us some great tips for what can be a daunting task. Step one is preparation and layout. Now I'm sure we've all heard that preparation is key, but let's see how we measure up and prepare for this first step. Nick.
Nice to meet you, James.
Thanks for joining us today. I'm not entirely confident as to where I start first, so what would be the first step?
Okay, the first thing is actually not to get on the wall and start doing stuff. It's actually step back, assess the situation, measure everything and map out exactly how we're going to do it. So you want to, first of all, get the length. So you can just help me.
Can indeed.
Yeah.
And this is going
just on the inside there, yeah.
Just on the inside.
The end of the wall, yeah. And then we're going to go right to the end. It's 2.5 meters long.
2.5 meters.
Yeah. And then the height, I measured this earlier, 2.8 meters high. Important bits of information we're going to need as well as this is the studs. So the distances between the stud centers, okay? So most of the time, it's 400 or 600 in the UK. It's important to know this because we're going to be using the studs to our advantage. We're going to be fixing the boards to them, okay? So you want to get those measurements.
This is where I've gone wrong in the past. You said 400 mil to 600 mil, so I'm getting some deja vu.
Yeah.
I have measured these on the outside of each stud.
Yeah, it's a common mistake.
That's not correct though, is it?
No, you want to do it on the inside because both boards are going to go right up to each other like this.
So we're always measuring centre to centre?
Centre to centre.
Perfect.
Whenever we've got boards coming up to each other and joining into each other. Last thing we want to see is continuous weakness. So we want to try and stagger our joints wherever we can. That's really important. Continuous line to continuous joints equal weakness.
Okay. Once the boards are up, we've staggered them, what can us DIYers do along that way to make sure that once the boards are on the wall, we still know where we're screwing in and where we're drilling?
Okay, so you want to get your pencil and wherever you can, use the surfaces around the wall to your advantage. So for example, we've got a stud running down here, a stud running down here. So we want to get down and we want to mark on the floor where that stud is, right in the centre, okay? And we want to do that for all our studs. And the same with this wall, where we've got noggins here, just mark the centre, okay?
Perfect. This is just for my sake. It's always the centre of the stud.
Always the centre of the stud, yeah.
Perfect. So we are ready to go, I think, are we not, Nick?
Pretty much, we're almost ready. First thing I want to do is clean. There's a bit of debris here. Might get in the way of the boards. We want a nice flat surface.
So let's get this tidied and get these boards on the wall, shall we?
Let's do it.
Right, so step two is cutting the boards. Now, cutting plasterboard can actually be a clean and simple job if done properly. So let's get our boards cut. So Nick, we have worked out a pretty good plan on where our boards are going to go onto the wall. I don't have a circular saw at home. How are we going to cut these boards?
Yeah, it's a common mistake. It's a lot easier. You're going to be amazed. All you need is a Stanley knife. Okay?
I've got a Stanley knife.
Yeah. Also, bit of protection, PPE, stick some gloves on. We don't want to cut ourselves, do we? Okay.
We don't.
So what we're going to do is we're going to get a straight edge. A lot of people would just use a level. You can use a long piece of wood as long as it's straight. That's the most important thing here.
Okay.
We're going to get our Stanley knife.
And just to check, Nick, we can do this on any side of the board, can we? We can score?
Advised to do it on the front. So this is the ivory side, okay? It's just going to make a nice clean cut. So I've measured twice and I'm ready to do my cut.
Measure twice, cut once.
Measure twice, cut once. So I'm just going to get my knife and I've got my straight edge, which is my level here, okay? It's nice and lined up with that line. So I'm going to take my Stanley knife and I'm going to run it into the straight edge and I'm just going to go about 3 millimeters deep. It doesn't have to be too much pressure and I'm going to take my time with this because I don't want to mess it up. And I'm just going to go along the straight edge like this. And if you've got a long piece like this and the straight edge won't go, you can move it along. Ideally, you want a long straight edge so it'll do it in one cut. But for this exercise, we're just going to do it like so. Okay.
Nice. So we've scored our board, now it's time to snap our board. Are you sure how to do that?
Yeah, I mean, there's a number of ways you can do it. It can be a bit awkward, the boards can be quite heavy. So you really just want to make it easier for yourself. If I'm just on my own, an easy way to do it is just slide a straight edge under it, get right on that joint, okay? And then the pressure there has already made it snap. So we're going to do the same for the end.
Yeah.
Okay. That's nice and weak now. You can see that opening nicely. Okay, so let's stand it up. Slide it into us. Okay. Now let's put a bit of pressure on the center of the board. Okay, and we're going to put some force on here. You ready?
Yep.
There we go.
Look at that.
Okay, easy. We want to get our gloves again, go back to our standing knife.
Safety first, of course.
Of course, always. We're actually just going to, for ease, let's spin that board round. Okay. Just help me out with this.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. Okay, there we go. Just so we can all see at home how we're doing this. So we want to get our knife and we're just going to score down the back, okay? The boards are going to come into two, so make sure you got a hold of them. We're just going to run our knife down that line like so. Right, so we're also going to score from the bottom now, coming up. Obviously, when you bring in the knife towards you, try and be careful. Now we're going to move the boards, okay? So we want to always grab it by two hands, the boards. So you got that board by two
hands? Yeah.
Two hands, yeah. So we're going to put it over there by that nice flat wall, okay? Yeah, so right up against the wall. That's it. Safe, secure, not going to bend.
It's not going to bend.
Happy days.
So I've just noticed we have some exposed wood here around the window.
Yeah.
We still need to cut some boards for those, don't we?
Yeah, the reveals. We've still got the reveals left to do. So at the moment, the way we've cut our boards is that they're overlapping by 12.5mm,
Yep.
okay, which is the thickness of these boards. The reveals, we're going to measure and cut them so that they're going to be positioned right behind the front of those boards like that. And then later on, the bead is going to sit on top of that before we plaster it.
Nice.
Okay.
And we only need 3 sides and the top.
3, yes.
This is our windowsill.
Yeah, so a lot of time you won't need a board on here because people just do a windowsill,
Yeah.
however you want to finish it. But yeah, for this case, we're just going to do 3 sides. We're going to do the sides and the top.
Okay, so step 3 is fixing the boards. Now that we have all our boards cut, it's time to fix the boards to the wall. There are several techniques to fix the board to your wall, from dot and dab to plasterboard screw. Because we have a stud wall in our studio, we will use the screw technique. Okay, Nick, we are just about to fix our first board to the wall.
Yep.
We've got some scrap pieces there. What are we going to do with those?
We're going to leave a gap.
Yeah.
We don't want any damp rising
Yeah.
because the building's going to move. We don't want it to break the wall, so we're just going to leave a gap. Okay, so we're going to place them on the floor and then rest your board on top of that.
Right.
Happy days, yeah.
You've got your drill, you've got your screws. Any specific type of screws that we're using for this?
Yeah, so we're using 32mm dry wheel screws here. You can use 38mm, that's okay. And obviously we've got our impact driver, we've got our drill. So what we're going to do is, importantly, we need to leave 300mm gaps at least as you're going up your studs. And
That's between each screw.
That's between each screw. And one of the most important things when you're fixing any board is you want to leave a little bit of a dimple in the paper. The worst thing you can do, and you'll know when you do it, is you break through the paper. There's no fixing, essentially. So let's have a little look what that looks like. Okay, so we've got our 32mm screws, and we're going to go ahead and screw them in. So, now, this is an important bit when you get to this bit, because you're going to drill in. Okay, so the most important bit here now is the screws protruding. We don't want that, but we also need to be careful because we don't want to go too far into the board. You've got this paper for a reason. We want to leave a nice dimple in the paper, but we don't want to break through it. If we break through the paper, essentially it's just not going to be secure. It's not going to be fixed to the wall. So what does this look like? So I'm going to go really slow as I'm drilling in. Now see that? It's nice and under the paper. It's left a little dimple around, but it hasn't broken through. Now, just for demonstration purposes, I'll show you what it looks like when you do break through. See that? It's broken through the board. It's now not secure, and that's going to move. If that wasn't in, it would come away. Okay?
So, dimple technique, just leave a little impression. You don't want to go too far into the paper.
Yeah. So you want this, definitely not this. Okay?
So I was just about to offer this board into the space, and I've realised something that I think you realised a little bit before, because I've seen the extra stud that you've just cut, and that is that we don't have the studs in this space to fix the board to.
Yeah, no, exactly right. As we said before, every wall requires something different. Because of this one, because of the way the windows are, and we've got these long vertical boards, it's meant that we're not meeting the centre of the stud here, because obviously we're meeting the end of the window here. Yeah. So we're doing the right thing here, but it can mean that we're doing the wrong thing down here. Easy fix, as I've cut here, obviously your stud is going up to the side here. This will just allow something for this to grip onto. Yep. So when we fit this board there, we've now got this nice stud. You can use noggins across. We've got this nice stud that you can now screw into. And we're going to do the same on this side. Just going to go right there. Okay?
Perfect, sounds good. How easy was that? Our wall is looking good, and now it's time for pre-skim reinforcement, applying some beading and checking for protrusions. Okay Nick, so I'll turn my back for 2 minutes and you've put some colour on our wall. So what is this tape and why do we need it?
So this is just scrim tape. It's a self-adhesive tape. The reason we do it is anywhere we've got joints or lines, it can lead to weaknesses. So we just want to reinforce those joints. And in the future as well, when we come to skim it, it's not going to leave any lines, visible lines. So do you want to give it a go?
Let's do it. I did notice that you left a few bits. I was assuming that was for me.
It's for you. We'll do this one here.
Okay.
Yeah, so you're doing the right thing. You got the line in the centre of the mesh tape, or scrim tape.
See, I do know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
I think I'm ready to cut that, Nick. What do you think?
You are definitely ready to cut.
Perfect. So I'm just going to cut this lightly against the board.
Yes, please.
Okay.
Looks good to me. So we've done all our taping, right? Now we need to do the beading. With this wall, we've got some nice external corners around this window. Beading is essentially just going to get that nice sharp finish when we do come to plaster. All we really need for this is a hammer, some clamp nails and some snips.
Perfect, and some PPE?
PPE, always PPE.
Safety first.
Especially when we're using sharp edges.
So I mentioned before, I don't have a saw at home. This beading is metal. Do I need to go out and get one yet?
No, it's actually a lot simpler than that. You just need to snip it, okay?
Perfect.
And then we're going to basically, always goggles obviously, because we're cutting. We don't want to get any in our eye. We're just going to put the bead to the window like this, and then we know we want the beads to be this high. We're resting it at the bottom here. Yep. So we're just going to have the snips nice and flush, make sure it's pressed in, and then we're just going to make a small cut there, and then we're going to bring it back down.
So you've got your mark.
We've got a mark.
Yep.
And then we're just going to cut it like so. Okay. And then on the reverse side, we're going to meet that point and then cut it again. And then it's really easy. This piece just snaps off like that. Cool. If you want to just put that up to there and just make sure that it fits. Okay. So notice how it's quite tight. Yeah. That's what we want. Always cut a little bit more, and if you need to take a little bit off, you can. But to be honest, I think I've done a good job.
I think you've done this before, haven't you?
Okay. Yeah. So security, we want one at the top, one in the middle, one at the bottom. Okay. As long as it's nice and tight, that's all we really care about. Okay.
Start you off.
Thank you very much. So just want to pin it in. So I'm just going to put it in one of those holes that you can see on the front. Yeah. Yep. Watching me finger and thumb. Just going to hammer it in like that. Okay. Okay. Now it's in. Get it nice and secure. So you can see that's nice and tight.
It's not going anywhere, is it?
Probably don't even need a bit of scrim tape, but I would, just to make it nice and flush to that wall. Okay. And then we're going to do the same thing in the middle and the same thing at the bottom. Do you want to have a go?
Why not?
Yeah.
So I'm just pushing this beading just to make sure, because there's a little bit of movement now. Is that right?
Exactly right. Yeah.
Perfect. And then I'm going to get this nail in. Push my finger and thumb. Okay.
Secure. Happy.
Not going anywhere.
I'm happy. It's good.
Okay, so we've got our wall nice and ready, and I think we're good to go into the next stage.
Yeah, I think, do you know what, it's been great. I think you've learned a lot as a beginner.
Yep.
I think the thing to remember is every project is different.
Yeah.
You know, you're at home, every wall's different. You could do the boards differently, you can lay it out differently. The main things you need to remember is the wall secure? Is it going to be safe? Okay, they're the big things.
I think it's really important what you just said then. I think every wall is different, and people might want to approach this in a number of different ways, and that's okay. Whatever suits their project, every project is different. We've done it the way that we think is perfect for our studio wall.
It works for the studio. At home, you might have different scenarios. Just make sure it's safe and make sure it works for you. Okay.
Perfect. Nice one, Nick. I think you'll agree that if you take your time and follow some pretty basic steps, this is a project that any DIYer, including myself, can take on. Something that I really took away from today is that you really do need to take your time when it comes to planning out your wall. Remember to always leave a gap between the floor and the plasterboard, and don't leave any uneven joints. And a final check is that the wall is ready to skim when the boards are fixed solid with no bounce, all your screw heads are sub-flush, and every joint is taped, and that floor gap is consistent. Now, always remember, HSS is here to support your project from start to finish. Research, support, buying and hiring the equipment for all of your DIY needs.